Hi, and welcome to Java Programming Skills using Replit. I'm Norman McIntyre. Let's get started. So this is going to be a tour of Replit.com, show you how to get started using this, and we'll be using it throughout this series of videos. So step one, open up your browser and point it to Replit.com. And the first time you do this, you'll see that it'll ask you to log into your account. So you can either create a new account if you need to create a new account, or you can log in using your Google account or GitHub or Facebook. So you have your choice there. Either click on sign up, and when you click on sign up, you can enter your username and email and password, or you can use one of your existing ones. So that is your first step. Okay, once you've signed up and you log on, you'll see your opening screen will look something like this. It may change depending on which the home screen sometimes changes here, but the thing we want to look for is we want to create a new ripple. And what I'm going to do, if you notice typically on the right hand side of the screen, you'll see there's a plus button, and that's how you can create. Also notice here under create there's the plus button. In fact, you can see some languages here that I've used recently that are here. So you can either click here for the plus, or on the right side of the screen you can click on. But in either case, when you click on that, notice it's going to give you the choice to create a new ripple. And you have all these languages here, and it's just amazing how many languages are supported. For this particular series of videos, we're going to be using Java. So go ahead and select Java. When you do that, it will give you a name that it comes up with, or you can use the name that you'd like to use. In fact, I'm going to say Java Programming Skills using Replit, and I'll say this is the Replit intro, since we're going to see how to use this. Notice that by default you have public, and in fact, if you've signed up for an account, by default the accounts are public, meaning you can anyone can see your code. You can also sign up for private accounts if you'd like to do that, but for this series of videos, public is fine. And then you click on Create Ripple. So once you create, some interesting observations. First, there are three windows or panes that you see here. I want to begin with the one on the left. This is where the files are at. So right now we see we have a single file called main.java, and as we go through the course and put additional files here, this would be your list of files. Second, in the middle pane is main.java. This is your actual source code. The source code is where we spend the majority of our time here in the editor editing code. And then the pane on the right, the third pane, this is the one where you can see your output. You actually build the code and see it run over here. In fact, although we haven't started looking at the Java source code in any detail, you can see right here it says hello world, and you kind of have a hint that probably when you run this code it will say hello world. And in fact, if you click on run, what happens over here, it will build your code. In this case, it's using what's called the Java compiler to compile your code. Once it compiles it, it runs it with the Java virtual machine. So basically Java starts up a virtual machine and runs the code, and of course we see that indeed we have hello world here. And this will be where we spend our time at. It's very nice in that we can add files as needed, we can edit as needed, and we click on run and it will build it for us. But when it comes time to change something, let's say hello world, how about from Java, you just point your cursor here, click on run, and it updates it, and of course now it's saying hello world from Java. There's a lot of other features in this that we will cover as we go through this course, but for right now I just want you to notice we do have the files, the code, and the pane here on the right where we can see our output. By the way, if you come over here and type uname, which is a command that allows you to show what type of system you're on, notice we're on a Linux system. So it's pretty amazing that we have access here, a full Linux machine that we're running our code on. In fact, if you do an ls, one of the Linux commands that says list the contents of your directory, you can see that we have a main.class file and a main.java file. Now, we haven't talked about any of this in detail yet because we've just started, but the main.java, you know from over here, is where your source code is at. This is basically where you will spend your time. And it turns out when you build this source code, what you get out of it is something called a .class file. In fact, if I say file star, this command looks at each file that's in your directory and gives you a summary of what types of file it thinks it is. So here it says, well, we've got a compiled Java class data. So it says that when I looked inside of here, it looks to me like it's a Java class file, is something compiled, and that means we can run it. Now notice for this one, it actually guessed a little incorrectly. It thought it was C++ source, which is another language. C++ is another language, when really this is Java. So the file command, it sometimes guesses wrong. It did guess right that we have ASCII text, the American Standard Code for information interchange. We do see that it at least got that right. By the way, from this line, you can also run it manually. I could say Java, which is the name of the Java virtual machine. How about run the main, which is our class file, and notice it also says hello world Java. So we can do things from here or from here. We'll be doing this as we go throughout the course. But for right now, go ahead and create the classic hello world. And once you've got here, this is always a major milestone in that you've written your first Java, in this case, that displays hello world. So thanks for making it this far in the video. There's more to come in the next video. I'm Norman McIntyre. Thanks as always for watching.